Hi, this is Harriet Grayson, your host and producer for Community Culture Showcase. After so many years, we've been hiding away, and all the great producers, playwrights, actors, actresses have just not had an opportunity to be seen in public. Well, slowly, as the COVID is kind of fading, it's not gone yet, it's still around, but it is slowly fading. We're beginning to see much more of the artistic community coming together to put things on for the public. And I'm really happy because we have a lot of wonderful talent in this part of the country. People drawn to us because of the water, the ocean, the bays. This is just an absolutely lovely place to be living. So it's with me a pleasure I introduce a guest who I've met not recently, John Bale, who is a playwright. I bet you in one of your lives you were an actor.
I have been an actor. Yes,
yes, and a screenwriter.
That's kind of new.
Yes.
But yes.
And also a producer is what you're both best known for.
Yeah, I've produced and I've also taught a lot and directed. So.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about yourself, John. How'd you land up here in the Mystic area?
Well, first, Harriet, thanks for having me here.
Yep.
That's great. How did I end up here? I have a girlfriend who lives in New London, an old girlfriend, and we used to come up to see her parents in New London from New York. We both worked at Playwright Horizons at the time, and we'd come up here on some weekends, and I fell in love with New London. And being an aspiring playwright, having O'Neill live 5 blocks from our house was also very exciting. So we go to Monte Cristo, which was amazing, and I just loved it. And then we were looking for a new house recently, about 7 years ago, and we found a place in Old Mystic, and this old historical home. I said, wow, I could do a lot here, and I could do shows in the living room, I could have bed and breakfast, combination, and that's what I've been doing for the last 7 years in Old Mystic. I started Red Balloon Productions, and it's been amazing. The first year I met Ruth Crocker, who used to own the house. She's a writer from Mystic, and she wrote a book, and the book, it was about her husband who died in Vietnam, but it was, in the first chapter, she talked about her family, and there's a chapter that took place in the tower of the house I lived in, because she used to live there with her family. It was a nursing home. So that was amazing. So she came, my first event, she came to the house to read the chapter, invited a lot of people, and she agreed to do the play Rockabye by Samuel Beckett in the living room as well. And you were there recently to see a play, so
yes,
you know
yes.
that it can really happen. And it was very exciting because I love Beckett, and to see her do this in the house was amazing. I always loved small spaces. I always was off Broadway, and I loved the intimacy of theater in small spaces, and to do it in my house, in the living room, it was really great. So I really enjoyed that.
It was
experience.
like a feeling of a salon. If you
Right.
could think of Paris from decades ago.
People always say that.
Yes, it has
Yes.
that. First of all, the house was built in what, 1799 or something?
1791.
91?
Same, yeah.
So yeah, so it is old.
On the river.
On the river.
And it's just got a charming
And
atmosphere.
up the hill, up like a steep kind of embankment up there. You're not like right on the water per se. You're up.
Well,
the
people
house
say
is
it's
up.
I told somebody that was on the river, and she goes, "Well, it's across the street." You have a view of the river.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
Oh, you have a better.
And
view
I live
than
at my
you-
office in the tower, so I live in the tower with my dad. When I do my writing and stuff, and it's just I'm sitting there going, "How did this happen?" So I've always loved this area, and funny because on my birthdays when I was in New York, they would say, "What do you want to do on your birthday?" I go, "My dream is always to go to Stonington, go to the winery, the bookstore and book barn, and the beach." And I wake up my birthday, it's like, now what do I do?
You're right here. You're
Yeah,
right here.
so it's been amazing. I also came to adapt a novel because I came here, that was my first goal. I had found this novel I really loved, and it's the first time I ever adapted anything, and it was really exciting. And we had a reading in New York with a novelist, and then COVID happened because I was all set to, because I wanted to direct in this area. I wanted because it takes place in New England, and I really wanted to do it in this area, but maybe that's a future project, hopefully. So right now,
yeah. I mean, I would think that you think today, and then lots of stuff you're thinking about is for tomorrow, projects that you want to complete. I mean, I'm a writer.
I know.
And I'm a novelist, so I think about the book I'm writing or preparing now. I've got another one I'm thinking about. So you're always thinking about what's going to happen next. I think that's how you keep your juices going, because you keep on trying to come up with bigger and better and more interesting and attract a different audience, maybe a bigger audience. You know, I think that's for many artists.
That's why I really admire you, Harriet, because my juices aren't as flowing anymore. So I give you a lot of credit. When I met you, I was so enthralled how you do that. Because I'm kind of, have to admit, my juices aren't as like they used to be. And I saw you and your passion and your enthusiasm is just extraordinary. So hopefully I'll get inspired, as you are, to keep going, because I'm like, now what do I want to do?
Yeah, well, you always have to be bouncing a couple of things going at the same time. I find that. And for me, as a writer, which is a solitary kind of, it's not even screenwriting or playwriting, where you need input from an audience or actors.
Wow, okay.
Being a novelist, you can be locked away in an attic and be in jail or something, and you can write your heart away. So COVID, for me, as an artist, it became an opportunity to lock myself in my house and, you know, put my laptop on the dining room table and use it to think about, for me, at least for COVID, was thinking about the past. Right. So my first book out of COVID was Rockaway Riptides, which was about growing up in the 1960s in New York City with all kinds of turmoil that was actually going on. And the 60s, of course, were a time of incredible turbulence. I mean, my parents thought that the world was coming to an end. Neither one of them lived to see this current kind of insanity. I think they would be actually surprised that we could get worse.
Everyone would be surprised. Worse. Yes, I'm surprised.
And then the second one, my second novel that I wrote under COVID was even going back further, and I picked up the story of my grandfather, who was a bootlegger for the gangster Dutch Schultz, and so I'm out there trying to promote that, and then I started to write my next novel, and a little second piece, a little novella, which I was writing. So yes, you have to keep yourself inspired.
You're inspiring me.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Plus, you have a performance piece that we might do at the house, right?
Oh yes.
Okay.
I definitely have that in mind.
So I'm looking at projects. You
know, you might.
Anyone who has any projects, a play, music. I've done poetry readings. I've had fundraisers. I've had art openings. Anyone? Red Balloon Productions. The phone number will be up sometime soon, and please call me if you have any projects. You, Harriet included, so we can do letters.
Definitely. Tell us about your latest project.
Well, the latest project was, I just did the play Mrs. Campbell, Mr. Shaw, and Sandy Law was on the show. Now we're doing, I wanted kind of like a music festival, but it's more like an open house party to celebrate Red Balloon Productions. So it's like Rhonda Schuster is coming from New York. She's a recording artist. And she used to sing at my cafe, because in the middle of things, I always wanted to open a cafe. Mm-hmm. I wanted to have it on my bucket list, as they say. So I did, but I did it because someone who I was really inspired by, Phoebe Snow. I know you love Phoebe Snow.
Oh, yes.
And I saw her live once in Central Park, and I said, I have to meet this woman someday. And I eventually did, and we became kind of friendly. And her life was so enthralling, what she had to go through in the music industry, that I wrote a musical about her, based on her life. Not like these jukebox musicals. It was based because she didn't really want me to use her name.
Oh,
so I based a character on her.
Okay.
And we did it many times in New York. And then I wrote original songs, and she finally got to see it, and she really liked it. But then, as fate had it, destiny, she passed away.
Very young.
Very young. She had a coma. So I dedicated the cafe to her, called Phoebe's Place, in Teaneck, New Jersey, both of our hometown. And something we had in common. We had a few things in common. One of them, we were both in Teaneck. And Teaneck was one of the first towns that was segregated. Like, it was one side was black and one side was white. And everyone thinks she was black. I think you did too.
Oh, I did. I
yes,
did.
But you did. But she's not. She's Jewish. And she was mistaken for black, and the industry tried making her into a jazz singer. And that's what my musical's about, that how she didn't fit the white model like Madonna. So it's a long story, but her name was actually Phoebe Lobb, like Sandy.
Oh, that's why I knew.
Oh, you know that?
No,
I thought you knew that. Yeah, so that was kind of weird. But there was a train that used to pass our town. I lived on the white side. not for long because my father's kind of racist. When the blacks moved over, we moved, which was kind of sad. But the train would go through the town, and the train was called the Phoebe Snow.
Oh.
Her name was Phoebe.
Yes, yes.
But she the train, I'm getting chills because it was like this, because she was really inspired me so greatly in my life. And she said to herself, that train is going somewhere, so will I. And she changed her name to Snow.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting
So you see,
story.
for a Phoebe Snow fan,
Oh, yes, I am.
now you know how she got her
am.
name. Now you know she's not
Yes,
black.
I got some CDs somewhere in the house of her recordings.
I went to an estate sale on Sunday. And they had stacks and stacks of vinyl. I went, I couldn't find any. I was just looking. I had my musical taste. I said, oh, wow, this is great. I went back the next day to get something for the party, for the opening, and I found 3 Phoebe Snow albums. It was so crazy. I go, this is a sign. So yeah, so Rhonda actually wrote a song on one of Phoebe's albums. And she knew Phoebe Snow, of course, because she wrote a song. I never knew Rhonda until I opened my cafe. And a friend of mine, well, not actually a friend of mine, but somebody I knew that knew Phoebe came and he said, you might want to call Rhonda to sing the opening night, because I had a big opening night party at the cafe, and she agreed. And she came along with Urano, and they both sang at the cafe. It was like overwhelming, because my cafe was mostly an art cafe. I had poets, and I had comedians, I had jazz. It was amazing. It was a great experience. A lot of work, but that's how I met Rhonda, and we stay in touch. And I wanted to get a little more well known up there. There she is.
Yeah,
Rhonda.
there's the CD cover.
Rhonda Schuster. She's a very soulful, bluesy singer. Can I see if we play the song?
Yes,
Just a
yes,
sec.
of
This is
course.
the song she wrote, and we'll see if it comes out. Just for a second to give you a sense. Of course, this is how things happen. I had it all tested.
Yeah, that's what happens with technology.
Okay, of course. That's why I want to. I'm sorry.
all right.
Well, I'll try it again.
Go ahead. We can talk above it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she wrote the song, and she's gonna come up to
To your house.
the house.
Right.
I guess maybe you don't get sound in the studio because it's not coming up. Oh, well.
It's all right. It's all right.
It's called "We Might Never Feel This Way Again,"
Okay.
and that's the name of her tour.
Okay.
So she's coming to the house as a featured artist, and we're gonna have kind of like an open mic beforehand. So it's at 4 o'clock on the 24th. She's coming out at 4, and beforehand, open mic. So any musician can come, or a poet for an
Right.
hour and
Right.
do the thing. It's really to promote, because when I had the open mic in my cafe, it was called Poetry Man. Because,
Oh, that's our song.
right. So I called it Poetry Man in honor of her.
Yes. Yes.
So on Wednesday nights,
yes.
we would have poetry readings.
Uh-huh.
It was phenomenal. And a whole new generation got to know her in this town, in this whole area, the young kids. And the poetry night became a really big thing. And when I closed up, it was so sad because these kids had an outlet to do their poetry. And that's why, I've done a lot of stuff in New York. I did all my own plays in New York. I had I had all that happen for me. So it's great now to produce other people and to see other things happen. And I just love seeing these young kids reading their poetry. So, point being, if you have poetry, come on the 24th, read your poetry, and they also have music. So, right now I like to, I guess that's what my juices are flowing. Because my juices for writing are because when I adapted the novel, I had my juices. When I first moved here, I had juices like you did. But those, it was so overwhelming because I never really adapted anything before. It was a whole new experience.
Right. Right.
And it was really powerful. So I guess, so I put that to rest right now. I might work on a novel actually, because everyone tells me that this house I live in, I
Right.
own,
It's got the goblins.
it's a story in itself.
Right. Right.
And these last 2 years, as everyone can attest to, I have a story in this book. So that could be my next project. So you're inspiring me. You're inspiring me.
Of course, being a novelist is really a solo kind of activity.
And everyone has their
versus
thing. I don't know if I could write it because I always wrote dialogue since I was a kid.
Right. Well, you can certainly write a novel with dialogue in it.
True.
Yeah.
But it's a whole other art form, as you know. So I think to challenge myself, I'd like to try a new challenge. So that would be a challenge. I adapted one, but that still was a screenplay. And I also showed my film Hunting Season here a few times. I had a movie. On a play of mine, so I adapted that into a film. because I was also doing film festivals at the Mystic Cinema.
Okay.
And shout out to Mystic Cinema. That place is awesome. If you have any movies, go talk to Bill and Lorraine. They're really open to that. During COVID, I produced 3 film festivals. Not film, just many, like films.
Right.
I wanted to do a film festival, but that was a lot of work. I didn't want to go down that road. But I found some films I really liked and believed in of other people's, and we did them there. I had the party was at my house. I'm down the street there. We'd have a little wine sheet at the house, and all go to see the movie.
Oh, isn't that cute?
Yeah. And Maria Geis actually was going to be the director of my new screenplay.
Okay.
So I did her old film, and she's really great. She's a director, and she's really neat. But Mystic Cinema, I like to work with a lot because I don't have enough words for those people. You know, and you too, your films that you're producing.
Well, I'm part of a local film festival committee.
Right, at United. Right.
Yeah, right, that's right. So we look our themes. It's considered to be an international Jewish film festival, and during COVID, there was across the world very little produced.
Speaking of which, you should definitely reach out to the Teaneck Film Festival. Speaking of Teaneck, because they really do social issue film festival. They would take your film in a minute.
Oh, okay.
That'd be really a full circle, huh, Harriet?
Teaneck, New Jersey, yes.
Home of Phoebe's now. You can go down. I'm not sure when the submissions are. They might be around now, but I'm giving you a good tip.
It's so what we used to have was venues. We used to use the United Theater before COVID, and also the Granite Theater, which is in Westerly, Rhode Island, and they have also been participants in the film festival. Then COVID hit, and there was, first of all, there was nothing being produced, period. I mean, very few films were being made. So that meant that the things that we could possibly show were limited because there's just, I mean, we looked at productions from all over the world. So if COVID was hitting Australia as well as New York, this stuff was shut down. There was nothing being done. And then they also didn't want to have anything in person, so we did things virtually. So this year, and it's past now, it was June of this year, the United Theater was the venue for a documentary about the automats.
Oh, you were saying that.
The automats, the Horn and Hardrock automats.
That was one that sold out. I came to see it.
Yes,
and I couldn't
that's
get
right.
in.
That's right.
Like,
it was
wow.
completely sold out. And the fun part about that one is Mel Brooks, who's just a hoot, was the narrator.
Really?
For this film. So that was a lot of fun. And we're hoping now that for next year, you never know, it won't be virtual again. There'll be a lot more venues beside United Theater, including the Mystic Cinema, which has been a venue, before COVID, and that the possibilities of what we would show would be much more enhanced because there is starting production all over the world, and that's how we got it. Even in our tiny little towns, distributors, listen, it's no longer where they send it to you in the mail. Everything is everything is live stream.
I know, the whole thing's changed.
So the producer could be in London, could be in Israel, could be in New York, and they just send the stuff out as long as it's paid for. I mean, that's another issue. But so we're looking forward to being 2023 to have a lot more films and involve a lot more venues.
Fantastic.
Closer to what we used to have.
People always say to me, "Don't you miss New York?" I'm like, no, there is so much culture here.
Oh, there is. There is.
I saw Long Days, Journeys Night at the Monte Cristo House. I mean, come on, that was amazing. In a house where it was inspired by Flock Theater, also amazing group around here that do theater. So I'm so many art openings I've been to since I lived here. It was amazing. So I've met some really great people here, and so yeah.
So the inspiration for this July 24th event is that you want to introduce this singer-songwriter.
It's more than just that. It's really about Red Balloon Productions has had, I've done a lot of work with them, with us, me, and it's kind of just celebrating everything and just having people come and Rhonda and music and the open mic. So that's really the main inspiration. And also the Phoebe Snow, because she died so young and I really want to keep her name alive, and I've already told 2 people I know that she's not black because even Sandy thought she was black. And people start listening, so.
Well, her story is, you could make a musical about her life.
I did.
Because her story is so tragic.
I did a whole story about her life. I did a story of how it was called The Derailment of Penny Flyer. I didn't use her name because I told you she didn't want me to use her name legally. So I went to a library and looked up names of trains because I wanted to name it after a train.
Okay.
Because she was after a train.
Yes, yes.
And I found the Penn Flyer.
Okay.
That derailed, and I called it The Derailment of Penny Flyer. And it's all about how she didn't fit into the industry. She kept telling people she was black. And then someone let the word out that she wasn't because she was a little overweight. She wasn't attractive. And I actually played the producer sometimes when we did it in the city. And I had to be really mean, trying to lose weight. Are you really not black? Are you black? And that was her thing. Because she didn't really like jazz. And her first 2 albums, they wanted to make her a jazz singer.
Right. Who was the recording company that she worked for?
The first one was Columbia.
Oh, Columbia. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So
And
she had high.
No, she was on the road to they call it the voice of her generation.
Okay.
If you don't know her, whoever gets to see this, please. Phoebe Snow, listen to her music. She's really, but you know what? Her recordings never captured her power. Seeing her live was phenomenal.
Okay.
It was totally you couldn't capture that on vinyl. And I kept telling her she really do a live album. But she told me we would sit there and she was going to do Billy Joel's, his band was going to join her new album. And she wanted me to listen to it, but she goes, I never really liked jazz. I really want to do rock and roll. But they really kept her in a box as a black, and she fooled a few people, vocalist. And that was one of her challenges, and her weight. And then her daughter was born severely challenged.
Right, right.
And she was given a year to live. With Phoebe's love and devotion, she lived till she was 31.
Wow.
And when she passed away, it was the same time she showed interest in my musical, and then she totally lost. She was so in love with that daughter. It was phenomenal. I watched them together, and the love between them, I never saw anything like between a mother and daughter. It was really amazing, and so.
I mean, tragedy makes for great, great music, great plays.
That's what it was. And plus her first boyfriend, and I wrote a song called Not Now, based on her first boyfriend, was called Charlie Parker, not the Charlie Parker.
Oh.
But he loved jazz. When he passed away of an addiction.
Oh, yes.
And when he passed away, she dedicated the first album to him. That's why a few of those songs, Harpo's Blues and all the jazz songs, were for him. So I wrote a song called Not Now about when she found out he died, and I really like that song a lot, actually.
So what got you interested in Phoebe Snow? I mean, I just casually.
I saw her live.
Okay, all right.
And the reason I saw her live, because at that time, that era, and she sang a song and literally blew my mind. And then I found out she lived near me. So it wasn't just that; it was just also her story and getting to know her as a person. Well, by then I'd already done a lot of plays in New York. I did other, my plays were in Scotland, and I had also a dream of mine. I had a play that was done in Edinburgh, which was really another dream come true. And so she was just not the main thing, but she was the musical. I did work extra hard in this musical because it kept evolving, and because people really seemed to like it a lot. I wrote original songs, and it was done over and over again. So
are you thinking of producing it again right now? In this,
I'm always. You're gonna inspire me, Harriet.
Yeah,
You're gonna wake me up.
Well, I mean, you got the venue.
You're gonna get my juices flowing again.
You got the venue.
I should. I think about it. It's been so many times. I don't know. I might just work on different things. That's had its day,
Well, sometimes you bring it back. Well, because you bring back the memory of a artist who was forgotten, who actually, it's funny, you and I had that immediate connection. We both love Phoebe Snow, and I don't know that I know anyone else beside you, John, who actually even heard of Phoebe Snow,
really?
let alone knows this Poetry Man. Oh my God, that's what
Harriet.
a powerful song that is.
That's why we're here chatting.
Yeah,
about Phoebe Snow.
So I'm telling you, John, no excuses here.
Well, between you and I, the truth is, I've done so much theater in my day in New York that right now I'm really focusing, I never thought I'd say this, either on film, my
Okay.
new screenplay, because it's also about addiction. And I really believe in this film, and I was already saying that, but because I always loved just off Broadway, but I was down there for 20 years, down there doing all kinds of work downtown. So yeah, for a new change, or like you, go write a novel.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know about that. I just feel like my days of doing my plays are over. I've been very lucky.
Yeah.
Very lucky. I've had a lot of plays down in New York, lots and lots, over and over again. I put Playwright Horizons. I had plays all down Theater Row, blah blah blah, and so now I just love being here. I love being in Stonington, and I really like producing. I really feel like it's nice for a change.
All right.
Like I love doing that play in the house over the weekend. I mean, it was so amazing. I look forward to this festival and doing music and poetry and,
Well, because because I know from trying to find places to put even the film festival on, that finding the venue is probably one of the most difficult. You've got to find one that you can afford, and what are the demands that they're going to make on you, and
well, that's why very
yes,
good point.
Yes,
because Bill, Donahue at the Mystic Cinema and Lorraine were so accessible. You would never find that in New York. I had a theater.
Right.
They said, and now we're really good friends, and they will let me do anything I want to do there. I think so.
Well, they have multiple stages in that Mystic
Yeah,
Cinema
and
too.
Bill's passion for film is incredible. Like he's the greatest guy, and so was Lorraine. I mean, and when I did those few movies there, they were really during COVID. What they did is they went to space out. So a lot of people were doing films there to help them pay the bills because they couldn't do films. The movies the industry had stopped.
Yes.
So Lorraine actually came up with that idea to do it, and Bill was forever grateful because it got really busy, and there were some great stories of what people did there for birthdays, anniversaries, and surprise parties, and people can see our films at a movie theater. It's unheard of, You never see that in New York.
Well, the other thing about if I know any, and I don't know an awful lot about Mystic Cinema, but I do know that they also have live stuff in there all the time, and they have the ballet company used to be in there and used to do performances.
I never knew. Really, I thought they was mostly the ballet and the film.
No, I think
maybe before my time.
No, well, I think they actually did actual, not necessarily theater, but I thought that they actually did dance, where you'd see a live dance performance.
I know they do a lot of movies of the Mets. I never heard about them doing live performances. They should. Maybe they have. I don't know.
I thought, I could be wrong, but that's what I thought. The other place, of course, which is booming now, is United Theater.
You were saying that, yeah.
United Theater. Now, United Theater has hosted, within the last few months, not only the film for the film festival that I was involved with, but also they were involved in opera. They were involved in dance. They had dance performances. They had Saltmarsh Opera came there and performed. I mean, so it's a versatile little theater because it has a very tiny theater which has, I'm going to guess, I'm telling you like 12, 15 seats, a really tiny one. And then they have a larger one that has about 75, 80 seats. And then they have a huge stage that they can make even much, much larger.
I've heard. I have not been there yet. I mean,
well, you were in there.
I was there with you. Yeah, of course.
Yes, yeah, but you didn't get a chance to walk
right,
around.
But here they give tours as well.
Yeah. And they have. It was a long time in the making. I mean, I've lived in Westerly, since 1999. So they started maybe 10 years ago. There was talk about creating this performance arts center in an old building that had been a movie theater, and even before that, I think it had actually been a vaudeville theater. So it had been around since the 1920s. And then when the movie theater business kind of crashed, and I'm talking about years ago, 10, 15 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, then the building stood empty.
No, I hear a lot about that place. But that's actually what I'm trying to do with the house, with the salon, but in a house.
Yes.
So it's kind of the same thing. I also did Sandy's play Gold on the Balcony.
Yes.
People sat there not believing what they were seeing because it was like in this room, that's this old antique room, and seeing this amazing theater and live. Now, over the weekend, one thing that really made it so worthwhile, the pastor at my church came, and that was really I'm so thrilled she came because during her sermon, she always talks about William Blake and quotes poetry. And she came, one thing she said when she left was, I've never seen theater so close up. Now for me, I grew up on that in North Broadway. I've seen some of the greatest people live, like this even small in the studio, like really small. So I got to see that my whole, many years. So to have that opportunity to show a woman like this, she's a little older. I mean, to experience that, she was just really blown away because she got to watch the actors' expressions, and that was really thrilling to hear. You know, and also poets, because they have a really hard time to find outlets. I had a poetry reading once, and a woman who came to the play over the weekend, her name was Eleanor, came to my poetry reading and read poetry for the first time live in front of people. So it was also a great experience. And my art cafe again, a lot of people for the first time got to read their poetry. It's really hard to find an outlet to read poetry. So I'm trying to do that more too there, you know, and more plays and music and the arts, you know.
What's your, what do you think, you know, you got to think, as a producer, you always have to think in the future. What do you think 2023 is going to do for you? Red Balloon, what are you going to do? Come on.
I'm not sure. I'm not even sure I'll be here.
Oh, no,
I don't know. So that's a question that I won't answer right now.
Okay.
But you know what, Harriet? That's what's really, when my cafe closed, my film wrapped up the festival run, and it did really well, and my theater company kind of fell apart in the city, and my dear friend Jacqueline Brooks, who I work with now, here's a story. I don't know if you know, I got, because her and Phoebe actually died the same day, but it took many years.
Oh.
And she was also a big part of my life. Because when I was a little kid, it's just a little showbiz story.
Yeah, we love showbiz.
Okay. People say, well, what inspired you to do theater?
Right.
A lot of people say, oh, I did Shakespeare as a child, or I did this. Soap operas, because my mother loved soap operas. So I would sit with her and watch soap operas. And the drama, I don't know if you ever had a chance, you probably too busy to watch soap operas, knowing you, but my mother also was a working mom. She went to work after I was 5, so she went to work after a few years of soap operas with me. But there was this one, actually Ray Liotta was on it, who just passed away, the actor. And he was on the same one as this woman. And she played the housekeeper. And even at 4 years old, I was mesmerized by her acting. Like I just knew, and I was like, wow, the whole thing was so dramatic. And I just loved, the drama was so cool. And this woman blew me away as an actress. Then my first play off Broadway to see was called Buried Child by Sam Shepard, one of my idols.
Oh yeah, Sam Shepard,
course,
absolutely,
my
absolutely.
idol. And all of a sudden this woman came down the staircase during her monologue. And there was that woman from the soap opera.
From the soap operas.
Jacqueline Brooks.
Jacqueline Brooks.
Oh my God, I go, I need to meet her someday. Another one, not that I was a groupie, I just was an armor of talents.
Right.
I just loved, not because I was a stalker or groupie, I just loved talent. Like Phoebe's talent, Jacqueline Brooks was amazing. And I said, God, I'd love to work with her someday. Well, I did my play called Stuck, and she was in it. So Jacqueline Brooks, and she passed away, and she passed away in New York. Then I had this company with her and Terry Hayden, and then everything just kind of reached my peak. You know, I felt like I reached all my dreams in New York, and everything happened. And without Jacqueline Brooks, it just was empty. So that's just a little shout out to her. And
well, listen, the soap operas, because many of them were actually filmed in New York, were a gateway for many actors to then go on Broadway, off and on Broadway. I mean, it was...
Jacqueline Brooks became a major, I mean, she became like, you know, and Ray Liotta, a lot of them started in soap operas. And
it was a wonderful, because it was steady income and paid fairly well, and it was, you know, certainly equity. And people were, had characters they loved, and the other thing, of course, is unlike lots of TV that you only have like one season or something. They went on for years.
Well, dear, another friend of mine, Eileen Kristen, was Delilah, and she was when I was working in Playwright Horizons, I got to meet her, and then she started being allowed in my plays. She was in my play, and then she was in my movie, as Jacqueline Brooks was in my movie. And Eileen Kristen stayed with soap operas. She had a very lucrative career.
Yeah, you got paid well.
She really appreciated storytelling.
Yes.
And, you know, she stayed there, but she, you know, a lot of people branched off. like Ray Liotta, he just, that's how he started.
Right. Yes.
And everyone's talking about him lately because he was, he just passed away suddenly. Oh yeah, a lot of have people, yeah. So
It's interesting how artists can actually feel like they've done everything they possibly can, and you sort of the creative process. They always talk about the writer who has writer's block and that kind of story, where you think that you've just done.
Have you ever had
everything
writer's block, Harriet? I don't think you have. I think you're totally wide open. I can't imagine having writer's block.
Well, I will admit no. I
I'm not surprised.
No.
Your energy, your enthusiasm. That's what,
But it took me a long time to get finally into it. I had written nonfiction all of my adult life, starting from the college newspaper
When I first met you,
days.
I knew your passion was so strong.
But so I wrote all kinds of nonfiction, which was not particularly interesting. But I was even a local journalist for a short time.
Well, I really hope maybe there's a sign, because I want you to meet Ruth Crocker someday, because that's what she publishes nonfiction.
Mm-hmm.
And she two really like each other a lot. But she couldn't make it to play because her son Noah Bean, another name drop, is another well-known actor. That's her son from Mystic. She used to own the house, but you should really meet this woman.
It's interesting how, and then people artists are drawn to the water. It is, just one of those phenomenal things that it just
There's
does
a new book
percolate.
today. A new book came out this weekend about writers in Cape Cod.
Oh yeah,
Because they all flocked. Williams, Mailer, all those people went to Cape Cod. A lot of them. O'Neill.
Yeah, no, it's something very attractive about the steadiness of the water.
Wow, well said, Harriet. Because I've been very blessed. I lived on the Hudson River for 20 years. 20 years, I had a bungalow on the Hudson River, and now I'm on the Mystic River. So you're right, I was very inspired by that. And you live on the river now?
I live in Westerly, not too far from from Pawcatuck
Now that I live
River.
in a seaside town, I love, because like Maria, you met Maria. Maria says, oh, the air, I go, you live in she thinks the air by the ocean. I go, you live 10 minutes from the ocean. It's the same air. We live in an ocean community.
Yes.
Because the air, people say, what do you love about Connecticut or Sorenton? One of my first things is the air. I say, the air quality here is amazing compared to New Jersey,
even
New York.
even in the heaviness of the summer with the humidity and stuff, it is much nicer to be here than to be somewhere else where there's a lot of asphalt. And of course, COVID, in its own silly way, brought a lot of artists, more artists, to the area because they wanted to leave New York City, they wanted to leave Boston, they wanted to leave LA, and so they land up in places like this, and some of them can write or do business, even living around here.
That's why I want to make an impact. I want to do my part, and that's why I want to do this festival of music. I want to do the plays in the house. That's what I want to do. In New York, we had a drum circle in New York. My friend Lauren Hooker came up from New York. Who used to sing at my cafe, and she played piano in the yard. And she had a drum circle. Anything that's inspiring or creative, I wanted to have.
Well, the venue, as I always said to you, having the venue is like one of the hardest things to do. Whether you want to be a playwright, or a writer, a poet, whatever. Because there are some places that in the past have actually done poetry readings. So the Mystic Art Museum, at one time or another, used to have open mic time.
Oh yeah, really? Okay, I think I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they also have the Lanston Hughes Festival. Did you go to that?
Okay. No.
The poet. I actually went there and read one of his poems, and I think it's October, but they celebrate his birthday of Lanston Hughes. And I can't think of her name, but the woman who's in charge of it is really, Lanston fans.
Yeah, I mean, we do have, these places. Yeah, a lot.
I never lacked for culture art, that's for sure.
Yeah, no.
Not that I needed it, but because I've had enough.
Because that keeps the people coming here to do more stuff.
David Dorfman, his dance quality, at UConn is amazing.
I was curious, where'd you get the name Red Balloon? Where does it come from?
I should have an answer for that, but I don't.
Oh.
It just came to me.
Oh, well, that's all right.
Wait, I think it might have came from the movie. There was a movie about a little boy. It was called Red Balloon.
Okay.
And that was a really inspiring movie. So I was inspired by that. I'm not, and it sounded kind of catchy.
Yeah.
So, but I've had a lot of theater companies in New York I was part of, and so. But like I said, I used to work in Playwright Horizon, so I learned a lot of producing skills there, as well as because I did a lot of producing there as well.
So for the audience, what is a producer? Who are they?
That's a good question. They are the ones that make it happen. Like with say, like you approach them, and then sometimes there's money involved, and you have the director who's going to direct the piece, and the producer just makes it happen. They kind of make they make do the publicity, they make sure it goes out, and they're kind of like it's their baby,
Because you tend to think that the producer is the money person, the one who finds the venue, may or may not
They
find
get more.
the director.
They are. The producers can get more involved than you
Yes.
think. If they are paying a lot of money, they have a lot to say sometimes. So it's all relative, like the certain project, how much they get involved. But if there's a lot of money involved, they have a lot to say.
Right, right. Especially, I think, with the director, maybe even who the actors are.
So that's a really good question. But as far as it's always it varies as far as the project and everything, So.
Did you have a model? Do you have like a role model?
Well, again, I really was a playwright. That's my main thing. Producing came secondhand. I'm not I'm not out there smoking cigars, but I'm mainly a playwright. That's what I did for many, many years. I was very, very lucky to have many, many plays done of mine in New York.
So if any of the audience wants to read your plays, how would they?
They can go. Hunting Season is my movie. Based on a play of mine. Thank you for that. You can Google Hunting Season by John Bale, and you'll see a trailer, and the movies are available on Amazon. As far as the plays, I hate, loathe theater not live. Like I don't want to be on Zoom, or I don't want to show a film on TV because it's just you lose the whole experience.
Okay.
And it comes out flat. I have a lot of copies of my. But that's my private archives. So I think seeing theaters because it takes away a lot. I mean, you see like videotape of it, or like when you saw during COVID.
You had no choice.
I tried once.
Yes.
I couldn't get through it.
Yes.
I don't care what people said. I just couldn't. To me, theater is live. That's the art form. And then from then on, it doesn't turn into And that's why I also just like intimate spaces. That's why I stayed downtown. I loved off-Broadway, just the magic of small spaces. A lot of my friends went to California and Hollywood, and they loved, and the whole term they sold out. But but I just was so glued to small spaces, So.
So why didn't you name your production company Small Spaces?
Oh, Harriet, you're gonna really inspire me. Where were you? That's good. I love that.
Well, it's just
it just was on the wing, but that's good. Yeah, so it's just been great.
So you're looking for talent to show up on July 24th, but they do need to contact you in advance, don't they?
No, that's gonna be like an open house.
Okay.
With Sandy, it was reservations because it was inside.
Right.
Or the other play, and anything else. Outside, I'm gonna hopefully. I will open to the public, and mostly if you drive by, you can definitely stop in. And Rhonda's a friend of mine is coming from Florida. I haven't talked to her in years, okay? And she called me, and she loves music. And she found me on, Facebook because my number. I'm no longer on Facebook.
Right.
But she found my number somehow. She called me.
Right.
We're talking. Out of the blue, said, I really miss the music there. I go, like, who? She goes, Rhonda Schuster. I'm like, Shannon, I can't believe you said that name. Because she's not really that well known. She's played all over New York, but she's not a household name.
Right, right.
She should be. If you come, maybe things will change.
Right.
But Shannon, who loves music,
Yes.
loves Rhonda Schuster.
Okay.
So there's a plug that should really, because Shannon, like I said, lives for music. So she's coming up to see us from Florida.
Wow, that's great. Now, Rhonda Schuster, so if you can't make the July 24th appearance, where can you get her music?
On her website.
Okay.
Like I said, on her website, Rhonda Schuster. That's just Google Rhonda Schuster, and you'll find all her songs, her records. She has a lot more CDs than that. I bought that one. And yeah, just Google Rhonda Schuster.
And Rhonda, where did she get her start?
That's a good. I don't know her that well.
Okay.
I don't really know that, but I will ask her when she comes up. We can talk about that. And,
yeah, because you don't ever even get to produce a CD unless somebody thinks there's potential to make a few bucks.
Just the fact I mean, in the worldly arts, if you have anything that's produced or out there, I mean, that's a major accomplishment, you know, as a writer, whatever you're doing to get it done. And to get a song on an album by a vocalist, she should be, I mean, well, she is well known in her circle. Previous notes, so having a song recorded on her album is a really an accomplishment, you know. So that was a really, you know. So
has she played a lot of clubs in?
All the time. She's in
Okay.
great demand. Yeah, she plays all the time. She, you know, and like I said, I was honored to have her at my club, and yeah. So I think Shannon's, you know, her coming up, her little promotion says a lot. And when she was at my cafe, the dishwasher in the back said, "She's got the best voice I've ever heard."
Well, you know, sometimes having talent doesn't get you success. We know that.
Oh, we know that.
Yeah,
and
I
also,
mean,
Harry, you also know what is success.
Yeah,
I
well,
feel like I really reached all my dreams and goals and the whole thing, and I feel very lucky, and I'm sure you do as well. So it's all about that, you know?
well, I think that as an artist who wants to continue to succeed and strive, is that there's just another big apple to pluck. I mean, there's just
Maybe a
more.
goal, but it doesn't necessarily mean financial or
No.
Oh no, as far as accomplishing that, definitely.
Yes, yeah.
Like I wanted
Financially,
adapting the novel, and the novelist actually gave me permission was a major thing. Like that was really major. Like that was another goal.
right.
And I don't really want to give out the name right now, but it was a really well-known author, and I reached her out. I read this book. I can't really say it now because it's really not. It's not out there yet in the world. But I mean, only she knows. I know the director, so it's kind of still under the wraps. But when I read this novel, it literally blew me away. I never had a need to adapt anything. It was original work. Except Phoebe was kind of based on her, so it was almost adapting, but it was really more I created a whole thing myself. This was actually adapting a novel with the novelist's permission.
Right.
And then she came to the reading in New York.
Right.
So that was the next step. I was like having anxiety because I had done a lot, but this was like to meet the novelist and she's going to watch a reading.
Right.
The first time of one of her books was incredible. So that, what you're saying, was another apple to reach, and I reached it. So I feel very lucky that.
So do you think that adapting a book to become a screenplay, what would be the difference between that and just adapting it to be a play?
That's a brilliant question, Harriet. It's like sculpting. I had something that I already had, and it was like taking it. I had to be true to the story and true to her. So it was, but I had to do the whole, like, it was like chiseling away. Like I wanted what needed to be in there, because a lot of novelists, she was one of them. She was really gracious, but to watch your book go from 350 pages to like 100.
Right.
Every writer knows this. It's heartbreaking to see anything gone or chopped. So it was a little hard for her at first. But I needed to keep it dramatic. I needed to keep it flowing in a film cinema sense.
Right.
You know? And she had a little hard time at first. But I think when she saw the reading, she really got it. Because one of the things about her, what she's known for is her beautiful language, like any novelist. But for film, you gotta cut a lot of it out, because you gotta be like really direct, you know.
Well, there's also the idea, unlike even a play, although a set is important in a play, it's not as important as it would be in a film, because the expectation is that things are in motion and moving, where not necessarily you could, waiting for Godot. I mean, you could have two guys sitting on two benches.
My favorite play.
Sitting there for
There you
hours.
go. I can just drop that so suddenly. My favorite play. Great, Harriet. That's Robert. Yeah, exactly.
Versus having a little action, and sometimes too much action. So I think about one of the things I saw as a play, which I didn't really appreciate as a movie, was Cabaret.
Okay.
So I loved it.
You liked it better as a film or live?
No, I loved it as a play. I didn't like it as a even though
I just
Liza
saw a guy.
Minnelli is a great talent. I thought there was too much. They put too much stuff in and took away from.
Did you see it at good speed?
I saw it. Did I see it in good speed? I saw it. The first time I saw it in Paris.
I love when people just. I saw it in Paris for the first time.
Really?
It's incredible. And you love it in Paris?
No. I just happened to be in Paris.
Was it French? in French?
Yeah, it was in, yes, yes,
You
yes.
saw Cabaret in French in Paris.
Yeah, well, because the singing was in English. The songs were in English, but the dialogue was actually
Was that
in French.
incredible?
It was wonderful. And then I've seen it since, and I think I didn't see that one. I saw Carousel at the Goodspeed, and that's one of my favorite ones.
Because someone just told me they saw Cabaret at the Goodspeed, and they love theater, and they thought it was phenomenal. Mm-hmm. So.
Well, but it was. I thought for the emotional impact, it was much better as this is my opinion, of course, as a play, because it was. First of all, the movie created characters that weren't in the play, and you didn't need those characters. You had better characters that were written into the play.
You've written plays, right?
No, I've never written. Well, I've written performance pieces rather than plays.
I love the one-person genre. That's great, and hopefully we can do it at the house.
Well, so there's that point of real, there's an emotional tie, I thought, particularly with that one, in a play versus that put too much stuff in. There was too much cinematography, too many beautiful looking places. That takes away from the essence of what Cabaret was all about.
Okay, wow.
That was me. That's my thing. Now, for example, Carousel, which has been made into, that one, even though, there was lots of extra stuff in it too. It actually, I think, worked better. It worked. It's still always. I'm with you. I like to see live theater versus any movie that I'm ever going to see.
I'm not big on musicals, even though that was another one. That was another challenge when I wrote one. But it was mostly a play with music. Actually, I should make that clear. But I'm not really big on musicals, except if it's really, I can appreciate a good musical. It's not my favorite, but
I mean, those are those, and of course the big news I think in both in the movie world, which was reflected in the play world, of course, was the new version of West Side Story that came out.
Okay.
That is.
I never cared for that as a musical. I never saw the movie.
Okay, well there there is a new version.
I know about it. I know.
By Spielberg.
I know.
Who has, and in that one, the cinematography was phenomenal because it captured New York City as it had not been captured in the original one. And actually, I understand the people actually were singing rather than Natalie Wood, who's a wonderful actress but hardly a singer.
Well, I should do another local name is my dear friend Amy Neistat.
Okay.
Well, her name's Amy Gabby, really, but she was Amy Neistat. And her son Dean is a stuntman now who's going into, and he was one of the police officers in West Side Story.
Oh, the new movie? Mm-hmm. Okay, all right.
And her son's Casey Neistat. So, and that's the movie I produced at the Mystic Cinema was their HBO series.
Okay.
Because that's also putting at a time, but that's a really interesting. You know about that whole story?
No.
Casey Neistat. I don't want to give. You know what? I don't want to give him that much airtime. I'll give Amy airtime.
All right.
Okay, we're gonna leave it at that.
All right. All right.
Yeah,
so yes. So we'll go back to Red Balloon Production Company.
If you're an artist, musician, poet, July 24th, 24 Main Street, Old Mystic will have food.
Food is always drawn.
I had food and wine. I always serve food and wine. I'm kind of good at that. I used to, I love doing that. And it's on the river. We have a pretty yard. And
so so I've been to your house. So you're picturing doing this all outside?
If the weather permits.
Okay.
That was one of the things with Rhonda. I thought she went outside, and then I showed the inside, but now it's back outside.
Okay.
I said, it's on the river. I think you'll really
enjoy it. You
enjoy
have a piano inside. You don't need a piano to be.
I just put keyboards. So she has a keyboard.
Okay.
I'm gonna get a sound system. We have some amps. So.
Okay, so we're not going to use. I always liked the piano sound, but I guess you're not going to use a piano.
She's gonna make keyboards.
Keyboards. Okay.
Oh, you mean versus? Yeah.
But yeah, versus a nice piano that you.
I'm with you, but she makes me like the guitar.
Okay.
Because she's really a soulful
right.
R&B singer, but she's gonna play keyboards. I come outside, will be really nice. And we might have some surprise guests and other things.
You're hoping for surprise guests, right?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Right now, they're not been pinned down, some opening acts, but I will have an accordion player.
Okay, I used to play the accordion. I was a terrible musician, but yeah.
He came to the house, but he left. Frederick. Yeah. He came to. It's a long story, but he plays. He's an amazing artist. And he's gonna come and play his guitar, his accordion, and sing French sea songs.
Oh, Oh.
You love Frederick, so.
Oh yes, yeah. I'm sorry, I
He'll
won't be
love you.
able to be
Oh,
there.
that's right. You
Julie.
won't be there.
I won't be there. It's
know.
my baby who's going to be
But we'll have a.
45
Do you play
years
the accordion
old.
too? You play the accordion?
I did play the accordion and the clarinet.
Oh my gosh, Harriet, you're
Oh
amazing.
yes, and I was a terrible musician, but my mother was convinced, because her father was a great piano player, that inevitably I must have inherited his talents, which was wrong.
I know. I should have played. It's a long story.
I played, a terrible musician. All right, one more time for the audience. July 24th,
Yes.
give them the address.
24 Main Street, Old Mystic. Old Mystic, not downtown. It's by the Old Mystic Mill across the street on the river. It's gonna be a great time. Celebrating artists and music and Rhonda Schuster and Phoebe Snow and everybody. And come if you have. Bring your instrument. Bring your poem. And great to meet you. And we can talk about future projects in the house or there.
Yes, and remember, you're a producer, so you might find among the people who show up someone that you need to go and then have further dates with them.
I would love that. I'm all about that. So I met some great people this past weekend. I'm gonna talk to, and yeah, I've met some great artists up here. Frederick being one of them. Frederick's artwork is extraordinary.
And you'll get an opportunity to see this incredible house that
It's historical.
is 17. What'd you say? 91.
1791. One of the
17?
oldest houses in Old Mystic.
Oh.
And
So you'll be in for a real treat.
and free parking
Yes.
all over.
Right. And free food. I mean, so how could you miss?
Well, free food.
Wine and cheese, at least, right? Yes, with crackers. So for sure, for sure. So I want everybody to show up there on July 24th. We want the people to be hanging out the windows because
Rhonda's
there's so many.
traveling 3 hours to do this.
Yes,
I
yes.
promised her a
Yes,
good time.
an audience. Yes, we know, we know. So I want to thank you for coming on and
Thank you,
talking
Harriet.
about Red Balloon Productions.
And thank Frank
Yes,
But
for
producer,
everybody
he's
putting
the
this
producer, yeah.
together. Yes,
Yeah.
putting it all together.
so much.
Yes. So I also want to let everybody to know that I am still teaching creative writing at Pawcatuck Neighborhood Center. I'm always looking for students. You don't have to be an accomplished writer. You just want to have an opportunity to try something, to write a memoir. I've got people writing books about flowers, people talking about, of course, it's an opportunity to talk about your life story. So come on over to Pawcatuck Neighborhood Center. We're there on Wednesdays.
Real quick, my friend Maria is there, and she loves Harriet, and she's very inspired by the class.
So come on by, and I want to thank you for listening. This is Harriet Grayson, your host and producer for Community Culture Showcase. See you soon.